All right, welcome to the third review of the evening. Up this time is Picrastination. Picrastination is a logic-based puzzle game where the aim is to solve numerical clues to reveal pictures. Each puzzle also contains a cultural reference, a joke, or a pun for added enjoyment. So this game is what is called a nonogram.
Because Picross is copyrighted or something.
Well, it's Picross is specifically owned by Nintendo. This is a thing we've seen in other situations, like how Reversi is sometimes called Othello. It's because
I thought it was the other way around.
Well,
but yes.
Well, no, Othello is a trademark of I forget who, but that's the trade name of a game that is actually public domain. Can't be copyrighted in and of itself. Though strangely here, like in the marketing materials, you can see the word Picross being used. I don't think they might know that, the developers might know that the Nintendo actually owns that. I mean, this actually came up with in an interview with Jupiter Corporation recently. Because they mentioned Nintendo owns the word Picross. So, but in fairness, this isn't Picross. This is Picrastination, a combination of Picross and procrastination.
You just have to fill in the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's 5x2, and there are 5 in every row and 2 in every column.
Yeah. And to tell us how well procrastination and Picross works together is the Galax.
So yeah, this is a Picross game. It starts out with there is a tutorial which Pettyfan is currently playing through. It has a pretty minimalistic geometric style, and you can approach the games, the levels it has, in almost any order. It has easy. They're sorted by size and then by approximate increasing difficulty within the size. If you don't know how these games work, basically you're given a grid and there are numbers along the top and the left side, and you have to fill in the blocks a sort to add up to groups in the order of the thing, so that if you have a row that's a certain length, that's 10 long, and you see that it has 10, that means you have to fill in everything on that row. If you see a row that's 10 long and you see 8 1, that means you have to fill in the first 8 and the last one. So usually the things to look out for are zeros, or the total number of things in the column, or numbers that add up to, because whenever there's a gap in the numbers, there's at least a space of 1. Sorry, Petty is distractingly bad at this. But yeah, so either the whole value, a 0, or ones that the number of things plus the number of gaps adds up to the whole value. So with a 5, if you see a 5, that means that whole row or column. If you see 3 and 1, that means that means 3 and then 1, or 1 and then 3, if it's in that order. The easy ones are the small ones are 5x5 and have an extremely short par time. Not that you actually get much for par time aside from there being a star on it. The small ones are anything from 5x10 or 10x5 to I think 10x15 is the biggest one in there. I'm not sure. And then the large ones are 25 by 25, so that the middle ones are like 15 by 15 and 20 by 20 about. The larger ones take much more time, especially because they're far less inclined to give you, oh, hey, this entire row or column is done. Also, when you do a puzzle, or certain puzzles will unlock new color schemes that you can use to play the games with. Some of them will unlock new mini games that you can play. So far, I have unlocked Conway's Game of Life on a palette that's too small to actually do it, and a Snake game, which is the game Snake, also on a relatively small palette. Conway's Game of Life is a basically you start with a blank canvas, you fill in some dots on it, and then procedurally the dots change based on how many neighbors they have. I think it's anything with 3 neighbors stays, anything with less than 3 dies, and anything with more than 3 dies. And yeah, all of these have a pun or cultural reference in the puzzle. Unfortunately, they don't tell you. Sometimes Picrosses are titled before you start them, or nanograms or whatever are titled before you start them, and that can like give you a hint. But in this case, you don't get the hint until afterwards, and then it tells you what it's a picture of, basically. And yeah, and the ones that have unlocks, usually there is a reward based on, or when there's an unlock, it's usually thematically based on the thing. Like the one that unlocks the Game of Life, the pattern is what is called in the Game of Life a glider, which is a pattern that moves in a predictable manner. Other than that, I think it's just a lot of this kind of puzzle, pretty much. It doesn't explain it amazingly well, I guess, if you're not already somewhat familiar with the concept. But also, it does have a tutorial, and the concept is not super complicated. I guess what I mean is that I feel like there are strategies to this kind of puzzle, and it does not tell you the strategies, or does not teach you the strategies. You can just figure them out yourself. Or you could look them up somewhere, which I may still do, because this is a kind of puzzle that I've always been somewhat interested in getting good at, I guess. And currently I'm apparently terrible. Although, again, the par times for the... You can also, once you've done one, you can go back into the puzzle to get the par time and just use your ability to already remember what the pattern was, and I think that's the only way to get some of these in like 3 seconds. The music is pretty chill, which is nice. It's mostly, I think, supposed to be for relaxing puzzle solving, and for that I think it's pretty good, and there seem to be a decent amount of them. Do you guys have any questions?
Not really.
I'm good.
Okay. How much is it, Adam?
Let's see. Picrastination clocks in at $5.99.
That's probably okay. That doesn't offend me. I don't know how many more like side games and stuff to unlock there is. So that's how I've done a very small proportion of the puzzles, since there are the same number of puzzles of each size, and even though I finished all of the tiny ones, I'm only about halfway there on small, and have done like 1 or 2 of the medium, and none of the extra large.
I can answer that. The main game contains over 175 puzzles in a range of sizes and difficulties for a varied challenge. There are also 2 super replayable procedurally generated game modes. A selection
So
of
it is just the 2.
a selection of larger mosaic puzzles and a few fun hidden extras to unlock too. So,
Oh yeah, there are the mosaic puzzles are procedurally generated, basically based on like existing quadrants that you have to unlock by playing one of the modes. There's a daily challenge, which is basically made up of the mosaic pieces. So yeah, there is a lot to this, so I don't think that's an offensive price. But be aware that aside from Snake Game and the Game of Life, there's really only one kind of gameplay here.
I mean, I think that would be to be expected and desired, honestly.
Probably, yeah. Anyway, that's about what I got.
All right, so yeah, that'll about do it for Procrastination here. Be sure to tune in after the break as we review Cardboard Kings Card Shop Simulator.